favor of accepting the minutes as they are, say aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Public comments. Who would like to go first today?
You go.
You go.
You go.
You go. I'll go.
You got me.
Everybody please introduce yourself, okay?
Deborah DeHaven.
Thank you.
I have so many complaints about East Brunswick Animal Hospital, showing you the absolute way they do business. I would have thought that professionalism would have meant something to at least one of them, to tell the truth. If I had to live my life lying and covering up, I would not have much respect for myself. Spanky, not treated correctly, handed to me in a deplorable condition, which, by the way, could have been fixed to make her look better. They just did not care. So many meds given to her that were not necessary, just to pad the bill. A tech was in at 8 p.m. and told me his young child was petting her. Asked if she got up to be petted. Answer was yes. And then told me at another time she was weak and wobbly. No call to transfer her. So which lie do I believe? A child doesn't belong in there. And I will now assume, since no answers were ever given, this is cruelty and abuse that she had to suffer, possibly murder. My dog was in the hospital, who walked in and when discharged, could not walk or stand, to which we brought her right back. They did no x-rays, but clearly wrote in the records, due to a hunched stance, in cage, another lie. We were there to visit her. She was not hunched. Heartworm meds with the label on in my cat's name, and they were for my dog. Meds cut in wrong dosage. A doctor who was practicing under the influence. Now, many times, under the influence. How many times did that cloud her medical judgment? Meds without thyroid test, hired. That's in the records. Cameras on the sick animals, but never wanted to view them when I asked right away, no calls back. And still don't want to produce the camera tape. What does that tell you? It tells me they are hiding something. The way I was told about Spanky by a phone call at 8:20 a.m. in the morning, all I was told was that she passed overnight. When I asked what happened, the answer was, I do not know, I was not there. But your tape was. I asked if she seized, and the answer was no, no seizure. End of call. Called many times to ask what happened. No return phone calls. Board, what more do you need to know there is something definitely wrong here? I was a client for almost 30 years, and I know everyone, and it is more important to cover up and lie than to be honest and have integrity. As doctors, you would rather have an owner suffer than tell the truth? Something I don't understand. And I was not raised that way, and have no respect for liars. Record keeping is a mess, totally. No time meds were given, nothing recorded about Spanky at all. So I guess she was just there to bring money in. She went in for a limp with no x-rays, blood work showed high values, and she was dehydrated. But the course would be to hydrate her and then take another test and see where the values were at before a medical decision should be made. You citate on Farrahurst, fine. Talking about, her not talking about euthanasia. Do you always think to kill them? I have had many that needed care and still lived. You cannot say that end-stage kidney when you are dehydrated. Values go up. Let's fine them for the smallest you can instead of fining them and revoking their license of the ones that present danger to our pets. I feel I have been patient, straightforward in my speaking and my feelings. You will not get a better education from a client than what I have presented to you. You should want to listen and learn how we feel when things are wrong. I ask you to do the right thing. As a board, you know this is wrong. What you do to a pet and a client, lie and not answer what happened, only if you were hiding something. So in conclusion for me, my thoughts are this: animal cruelty and abuse are going on in that hospital. And you should not leave them continue in your profession and walk with a tap on the wrist. Licenses should be revoked. When you resort to lying, there is a reason for it. I can tell you I have been there many years and have trusted, as have so many other animal owners. But it is coming now to the point we don't trust anymore. That is lowering your veterinary standard as vets. I wouldn't allow it personally. Another point is being called an animal hospital and leaving animals alone all night. That's not a hospital. And the word needs to be removed as it presents false advertising to the clients. Vets are not following the law, Betsy's law. It's not being followed. Are vets above the law? I urge you to take the bulls by the hand and represent the board with integrity and respect. Give fines and not taps. Remove licenses. Shut doors when it is needed to protect the public from those that are harmful. The board, not only where you sit and listen to complaints, but respect it, board, also to the vets, who think they can cover up and lie their way out of anything. And the board will just sit back and give a tap on the wrist. Make yourself be respected. And as for me, my complaints are prayed over. God sees all, and there is no one that can take his vision away of wrongdoings. All I asked for was the truth from the beginning, which I have not gotten yet. What a sad arena this is. I will work my best to give all God's animals the best, and that's what they deserve, along with the countless families that love them. Spanky was my support cat for my diabetes and would wake me up when my sugar dropped at night. Now if I don't wake up, I have a problem. Her worth has no words. I've waited a long time. I got a lot of complaints in. You see the pictures of Spanky.
What happened?
I don't know how anybody that's been here at this table can look at the pictures of Spanky and tell me that there's nothing wrong. Because I know better. There is definitely something wrong. There is a cover-up. I know these people. This is out of character.
Bring up the seizure.
She
Catilla
didn't
with
have
the
a seizure.
But what did Catilla tell you?
She had no seizure.
How do you know that?
Right.
How do you know she didn't have a seizure if you didn't look at the tape? Like, stop, guys. Come on. What
I know
happened to
what happened,
Spanky?
and
Come on.
possibly also all of you do.
What happened
But
to
he told me
Spanky?
no seizure, so therefore she would not be thrusting around. She got up to be petted for his child who does not belong in the sick room with the animals. They are upset enough being in an environment that is not normal to them, away from their owners. I'm paying for expert care, not for kids to come in and have a playground. Now, I'm gonna stand on cruelty and murder of Spanky. Okay? I'm not done, board. I'm telling you. You're gonna have a ride with me, because I'm not going to allow it. And you as vets should not allow it either, because you should be respectful enough of your profession and yourself to say, okay, friend, I know you, but you did wrong. And I will not go down into the swamp for you. Because animal people are afraid to take their pets to the vet anymore. We are. And I know a lot of them, believe me. So I'm not talking about one or two of them. I'm talking about this is becoming an epidemic. You don't want your profession to go down in the drain. We need somebody to have faith in and to respect.
How long have we been going over this now, Deb? A year?
Over a year.
Come on.
I mean, if any of you vets at the table run your hospital the way that you hear me speak, please give me your card, because I'll bring my pets to you. Okay? But I'm not gonna allow a vet anymore just to take my animal in the back. Oh, we'll give them fluids. They never gave Spanky fluids. You get a bubble when you do fluids. I do fluids. Don't ever think that your clients, just because they're nice, don't ever consider them stupid along with that. Because sometimes you get one that will stand and will not move. I am her. I am your storm now.
I'll follow up after you. Yeah.
Would you like to go last?
You want to go last? Not at all. That's fine. Okay.
Introduce yourself again.
Y'all know me. Know how I earn a living. My name is Madeline Kaiser. I'm from Palms River, New Jersey. I'm the woman responsible for New Jersey's Betsy's Law that is not being followed, as we know. What happened to Spanky? A year? We still don't have answers? What do you guys, do? I paid my $389 speeding ticket, by the way, folks. I'm not above the law by any means. So what happened to her? Why can't she have her answers? What happened to that cat? You guys know what happened to that cat. You want to do this every time? Why can't you give her? Let me shut up and let you guys do the answer, and let's hear it. What are your answers? You don't have them yet?
That's correct.
Why? What's taking so long? We're over a year.
We can't discuss a case that's still there. We've gone through this before. We don't have a choice in terms of saying anything at this point. They all go through a process here, and as that process finishes and letters go out, there will be a letter.
There will be a letter.
Absolutely.
Okay. Where are my 17 complaints?
Jonathan?
The The answer is very similar to what Dr. Adler just said. Each complaint is investigated on its own merits, and your 17 complaints are still being investigated and compiled. And when those files are done, I'll let you know.
Okay, so what's going to happen is 6 months ago, more than 6 months ago, I turned in these complaints. I made these veterinarians aware of this law that they don't know anything about, which is a lot of who shot John. All vets know about it. I mean, veterinarians in Israel know about the law. Stop. You know what I mean? So I go in and I tell them about the law, and they play stupid. Then I go back and I do a spot check, and then whammo, there's a sign on the door, on the wall. So you guys didn't send any letters out yet?
We've spoken about this before, that New Jersey Vet Medical has informed every veterinary hospital in the state numerous times about Betsy's law.
Who?
That happens to be one of the things that occurred when it was passed. And
You have to be a member of the NJVMA in order to get that information?
Nobody can force a veterinarian to be a member or not,
Right.
but most are.
Most are, right. Most are.
Most are.
And in terms of your question, a complaint is investigated by means that are appropriate for whatever the complaint is. So if an investigator has to go, then we ask an investigator to go. If a letter is appropriate to ask for information and obtain documents, then we send a letter. There are many different ways that we can do that, and we don't go into the investigatory process with open complaints.
Okay. Well, what's going to happen is probably they're all going to be null and void because I've already been policing the thing, as you know. Okay? So, and again, and I'll reiterate, Betsy's law is as good as drunk driving. You're not allowed to do it. People get behind the wheel and they wipe out innocent families. Vets aren't allowed to do it. They'll keep pets overnight and they'll die overnight, right? That not happen to you? That happen to you? It's a sign. It's a sign to let people know. It's a sign. On an intake form, on the wall.
I didn't
So-
sign any of it.
No, but what's mind-blowing is we still don't have answers on that. I turned in those complaints over 6 months ago. I didn't even get a letter. That's because now it looks like we're going to have to do things now by the book, right? We're going to, like, it's no longer, we know Madeline, right? We know Deb, right? We don't know, right? Isn't that how we have to do it now? So now I have to call you every day. Jonathan, where's my complaint? Jonathan, did you follow up on him? Jonathan, you don't want to hear from me every day, do you?
I would note, Ms. Kaiser, that you turned them in front of the board in public session. We were all aware that you did that, so, you know, I'm not sure what acknowledgement you were looking for, because we acknowledged it in public session in the minutes.
Well, I just spoke to you the other day on the telephone, and you said that no problem, I'll get these letters out to you. Well, where are they?
Actually, what I said was I needed to check with legal.
Oh, yes, you did. I apologize. Yes, you did. You said, let me check with them. Now, here we sit, Jordan.
And if I can finish the sentence, I said we need to check with legal because the complaints are still under investigation. And as you know, Madeline, complaints that are under investigation aren't public, so we can't share documents from files that are under investigation. That's what I said, just to be fully clear.
Now we have another woman here, and get ready. They're gonna want you to go away. If you're not gonna fight, you'll get pushed to the back corner like I was for 6 years. 6 years. And then the state lost my case because they weren't prepared. And then I had to turn everything upside down. Just like we have to breathe down their necks. What happened to Spanky? What happened to your, like, you're gonna want answers, and get ready.
So sorry.
stay in touch with us and, you know. So it looks like you're not gonna get any answers again today.
That's okay as long as you do the right thing. I'm not hammering on you. You are vets that sit on the board. Okay, so that's an honor in my eyes, that you sit on the board, that you take your time to do so. Take the board and make it a fear for any vet that does anything wrong. Not just a tap on the wrist, because they're not afraid of you.
Right.
You deserve more respect than that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You spend your time, you spend going over complaints. I'm sure you put a lot of time into doing this, okay? So you deserve the respect. Stand up and say, okay, you did wrong, and now you're going to pay for it. So that they know when the vet board says something, that you mean it. You must be respected. That's what I'm trying to get across to you. I mean, I know how it is to serve many, many hours, okay? And you sit there and you listen to everybody, and then, in my case, I was in rescue, so I seen all the bad things and everything else, and the rotten, evil people. I don't want you to take that flack. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
We have one other person in public that I know that you would like to speak, so we're gonna move forward with that. Thank you.
It's so disheartening, like, the cover-up is so disgusting. It's so disgusting.
Yes, I'm Heidi Wise. My dog is Princess. I'm with my friend Dr. Phyllis Aquino, who's a clinical epidemiologist.
This is
No, this is my new dog, Chantilly. She's a service dog in training, so I hope you'll forgive any minor transgressions because she is still in training.
Not a problem.
I just wanted to get Princess's picture.
How old is Chantilly?
She's 2. I got her about 6 months ago. This is Princess. I'm here because, well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for reviewing my complaint, and I've sent in some additional evidence, and I'm wondering if I could get a status update on my complaint.
We're not allowed to while the case is being looked into. I apologize, but that's rules that we all have to go by.
Okay. Have you been able to listen to the audio tape? Have you been able to listen to the audio tape that I provided?
We can't even reply to that because it's still part of the investigation, so we can't reply as to what we've done and what we haven't done at this point.
Okay.
I apologize, that's.
However, I'm the executive director. We've
Yes,
been
yes,
corresponding
we've
by email.
corresponded, yeah.
And anything and everything that you've provided, I've provided to the board.
Okay. But you can't tell me if you've had an opportunity to review it yet?
We're not allowed.
Okay. Would I be allowed to make some comments, then?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. You know, I just am so troubled by this every day. I feel that my dog is very neglected. There's nothing in the ICU treatment notes to indicate anything that was done for my dog, other than that she was put in an oxygen tank. So from the time I brought her in at 2:30 till the time that I came back in at 8, there's absolutely nothing in the progress notes until I went in and asked, you know, why was her breathing so bad. And she was not given any medication that Dr. Erickson had ordered. May I ask you if you, somehow my complaint on Dr. Erickson wasn't received. Has it now been combined with my complaint on?
We can't
that?
inside of it. I'm sorry, I can't.
So,
Like Jonathan said, anything that you've submitted, Jonathan gives to the board and has given to the board.
right, but initially they didn't have it, that Jonathan and I corresponded about that. You didn't have that complaint on Dr. Erickson. So my question is just, do you now have that complaint? Not anything else, just have you received it?
I don't keep that information in front of me, so I myself couldn't even
Okay.
answer you.
As their legal advisor, NJSA 45:1-36 prohibits the board from even confirming or denying that a complaint has been filed against a licensee. You filed the complaint, so you know that, but the board, pursuant to the statute promulgated by the legislature, is not permitted to give out any information relative to a matter that is pending until it makes a final administrative determination.
Okay, then.
However,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
again, as we've corresponded, and as I said just a couple moments ago, anything and everything that you sent to me, I have provided to the board. So if that helps you
Okay.
read between the lines, that, yeah, anything that you've sent has
Okay.
gone to the board.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you speak in generalities about what the protocol would be for treatment notes in an ICU unit for a dog?
If you could ask some specific questions about generalities, I don't know where to go on that question.
Well, what
To
would
honest
be the standard of care in terms of progress
with you.
notes on
Standard
a
of
dog
care is
that's?
taken on a one-by-one basis on a file of case. Each case is very, very different that's presented to this board. And this board basically establishes sometimes, you have statutes, you have regulations, but then there's what you're saying. This board basically determines what is the standard of care in many situations. And standard of care changes. I've been on this board for 16 years, and the standard of care changes as we modernize and learn more, as science progresses. So, and this board is very, very well aware of it, and basically, those vets that don't come up to that measure, there can be problematic. That's a generality, but standard of care changes on a very regular basis. That's just part of, what we do.
So
And
in
that's
your-
relative to
I'm sorry.
the actual practice of
Yeah,
veterinary
somebody that-
medicine. But I think your original question concerned treatment notes and other types of patient records. The board has promulgated regulations as to what should be in a patient record. You can find those on the website, and there's a regulation specifically for patient records, and it will tell you what information should be in a veterinarian's records.
In your expert opinion, is it reasonable not to have any progress notes for 3 hours in an ICU?
Again,
I
you're
don't
talking
think that
specifics of the
we're
case.
getting- You're asking specifics about a pending case under investigation, and I've counseled my board numerous times that they cannot respond to those type of questions. It's an open public meeting. They are prohibited from doing that.
Okay, would you be allowed to tell me, or help me with this, which is very troubling? There were 2 records in Princess's file that are completely anonymous, not signed by anyone, and no date, no letterhead. Is that something you would be able to comment on?
No, that's part of the investigative file. It's part of patient records. The board can just ask to review them and see where it fits into the totality of the circumstances. But again, treatment notes involved in an open pending case, they are not permitted to discuss it.
Would you be able to help me understand why a dog in respiratory distress wouldn't be able to receive an injectable antibiotic?
No, they would
Yeah.
not. They would not be able to answer that.
Yeah, can't reply to that. I'm sorry, these are rules that we're all under.
No, I've come to you for help because I'm tormented by this every day. I can hardly sleep. I have terrible dreams. Or I should say the dreams are good. She's still alive. The nightmares when I wake up and she's truly dead. And
We truly understand.
and not to be able to get answers is really has made it an unbearable tragedy, even more unbearable. devastating, and it continues to be devastating every day.
That we understand. Everybody here, I think, is an animal lover. That's how they got into this profession first. Speaking for myself, my dog goes with me to work every day. He's my best pal. And, you know, we as veterinarians, everybody at this table, I think understands that without that bond that we have with our pets, this very close bond, they're part of our family, you wouldn't need us, okay? This is what makes our profession really forward, it does. It's not always an easy profession, I can say that, but it's a very rewarding profession in terms of all of us understand the pain that all of you have when you lose a pet, for whatever reasons. Even at the end of life, it's very, very difficult when you lose a pet. You know, it's walking into your house after that is a very empty feeling, and we certainly understand that.
They gave her back to me with a lot of love.
Mine was wet.
Can you tell me whether I have the right to know the names of the veterinary technicians whose care Francis was under in order to file a complaint?
We cannot give you that information. We would have to refer you to the animal hospital, but
They've
this board,
refused.
this board cannot provide you with that.
The hospital has refused to give me, what I'm asking is it within your purview to look at a complaint about a veterinary technician?
This board does not license veterinary technicians. They're not licensed in the state of New Jersey.
So in other
Only
words,
veterinarians.
you would have no
We
authority
have no
over
jurisdiction
a
over veterinary technicians.
So who could answer can you help me with who could answer that question if I have the right to know the names of the veterinary
Well,
technicians?
you're entitled to copies of records.
I have that, but it only has first names and last initial.
This board has no control over that. No.
Do you have any idea how long this will take?
I don't believe they know that either. The facts and the nature of the complaint dictate what's necessary for the investigation.
Okay.
And of course, you know, as more information comes in, it certainly makes it go longer. I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
I've submitted more evidence. An extra labeled drug was provided for my dog that's not approved for use in dogs, which I understand when certain criteria are met. However, I was not informed of that. Were you able to help me understand why I wouldn't be informed that a drug that's not legal to be used in dogs was used?
sorry.
But that's something within your purview to look at?
We discussed the use of drugs here by veterinarians. We discussed basically the whole case as was, you know, as the veterinarian went through the case, and that includes drugs.
Right, but specifically informed consent, is that within your purview, or am I at the wrong?
The board will review the complaint to ascertain whether the veterinarian complied with the statutes and regulations governing the practice of veterinary medicine and whether they complied with the standard of practice. Those are the parameters for this board's review. We
So-
cannot answer the
Sure.
specific questions relative to your case.
Okay, thank you. So in general, where would I be able to go to look for the standards of care?
Like I said, standard of care changes as time goes on, and a lot of it's not in writing.
It's the practice of veterinary medicine, you know. So for example, because I'm not a veterinarian, I'm an attorney. So the one thing that I do know, for example, is when I was younger, the standard of care when you lost teeth at the dentist, the standard of care was a bridge or a partial. That's not the standard of care. Now the bird choice now are implants. That's not written, that's not a regulation. That is acceptable dental practice now. That's what we mean by the standard of care. And it changes over time, as Dr. Eitler said, with more technology and the advancements in science. Before, it was nice to put a bridge.
We don't use
We don't do
leeches
that.
anymore, that I know of, at least. I haven't for a while, anyway.
All right, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for coming in.
I really hope I'm able to get some answers so that I can have some peace.
I'll wait till next time. We're just going to close public session at this point. Public comment.
We'll see them soon. I guess we'll see them soon, huh?
Anybody want to go to the bathroom? We're taking a 2-minute break. Go for it.
We'll see you next time.
Okay, fair enough.
Have a good day.
All right, Madeline. Take care.
Bye, guys. Take care.
You too.
Thanks, honey.
All right.
Don't go anywhere. We want to talk to you. We need to talk to you.
Well, let's sit down. I'm so sorry about what happened to you guys.
No.